everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be covering a major update in the US immigration policy, the implementation of lifetime bans for visa fraud. I'll walk you through what this means, why it matters, and how it might impact people around the world. Let's get into it. Imagine this. One mistake like submitting a fake document or overstaying a visa and you could never return to the US again. That's not hyperbole, it's now official policy. Stay tuned because this could affect you or someone you know, okay? So first off, let's understand where this comes from. Back in May 2025, the US government launched a major interagency crackdown targeting visa fraud and illegal immigration. The State Department and DHS jointly warned that anyone found guilty of visa fraud would face permanent bans from US entry. This policy covers a broad range of visa violations, submitting false documents, misrepresenting facts, overstaying or entering through unauthorized means. So what exactly counts as a visa fraud? Generally, it includes 1. False documents, fake passports, certificates or financial records. The second is misrepresentation, lying about your purpose, background or intentions. And third, fraudulent claims, such as staged crimes or qualify for special visas. A tiny example involves U visas designed for crime victims cooperating with law enforcement. In July 2025, federal prosecutors indicted 5 people in Louisiana, including 3 current or former police chiefs, a marshal and a businessman. They allegedly took bribes to produce hundreds of fake armed robbery reports so undocumented immigrants could obtain new visas.
Well, today in Louisiana, 4 former and current local law enforcement officers, including police chiefs, were federally charged in what prosecutors are describing as a decades-long immigration visa scheme. Investigators allege that these very officers committed conspiracy, immigration fraud, bribery, mail fraud, and money laundering, according to the 62-count indictment that was unsealed this morning. The FBI and Homeland Security carried out the arrests and search warrants across the state yesterday. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson joins us with the details. Priscilla, when you're dealing with people who are seeking immigration, you're generally dealing with a pretty vulnerable population, people who are less likely to speak out when they feel something is wrong or may not feel like they have the resources to get help. So how did this even get on prosecutors' radar in the first place?
Yeah, so we know that prosecutors at some point started to notice an outsized number of armed robberies that were being reported. And what they found is this conspiracy that centers on these U visas. So these are visas, non-immigrant visas for people who witness or are victims of a violent crime and who are helping law enforcement. And so the person at the center of this all is allegedly a Subway owner and operator, Chandra Patel, who allegedly would collect payments from these foreign nationals and then pay these police chiefs, former police chiefs and officers to draft up documentation to show that those nationals were victims of crime. So fake police reports, things like that. And these were police officers from across the state. You had Chad Doyle with the Oakdale police chief, Michael Frex-Laney, the Oakdale city marshal, Glenn Dixon, the Forest Hill police chief, and also Tebow Onisha, the former police chief of Glenmora. So all of these officers in this indictment.
Each report earned them around $5,000 in bribes, leading to a 62-count indictment with charges including visa fraud, bribery, mail fraud, and money laundering. This case illustrates how systemic visa fraud triggers this new zero-tolerance stance. Even law enforcement officials were treading on thin ice. So what does a live ban policy mean? Legally speaking, permanent inadmissibility under Section 212 A6C of Immigration and Nationality Act. Anyone convicted of visa fraud is barred from entering the US ever again. Applies regardless of visa type, tourist, student, work, or crime victim. No automatic waiver, only in rare discretionary cases that are extremely difficult to obtain. The U.S. Embassy in Nigeria reinforced this in March 2025, stating that fraudulent applications would face irreversible visa bans. Similarly, the U.S. Embassy in India emphasized that even small scam could carry lifelong consequences. What prompted this crackdown? Several factors. A 2021 audit by DHS Inspector General flagged the U visa program as susceptible to fraud, highlighting forged certifications and lack of signature verification protocols. USCIS has prescribed the U visa program as a great idea gone terribly wrong due to gross mismanagement and corruption. High-profile fraud cases, including IBM scale corporate visa abuses, have added pressure for reform. Let's break down key travel scenarios. Scenarios consequences are like overstaying a visa by accident, 3 to 10-year bans, depending on duration. Minor misrepresentation can result in denial of visa revocation. Document fraud or false statements is a life ban under Section 212 subsection A, 6 section C. Attempted re-entry after deportation can also trigger permanent ban. Visas based on false crime claim also subject to permanent ban. Even small clerical errors like inaccurate dates or missing info can now carry serious risk, since consular officers have greater discretion. It is important to distinguish legal entry plus minor mistake equals possible temporary ban. Fraudulent entry or judgment equals permanent ban. Unauthorized border crossing equals immediate deportation plus lifetime ban under INA. How can you safeguard yourself? To safeguard yourself, first, be truthful on all forms, DS-160, I-129, DS-260, and so on. 2. Avoid sketchy agents or shortcut programs. They often promise guaranteed approvals. And thirdly, keep meticulous records, originals or diplomas, affidavits, travel history. 4. Monitor your I-94. Overstays even by days can lead to ban. And 5th, seek legal advice if you are unsure. Consult licensed immigration attorneys. This is not just a US-centric issue. The new policy has global implications. In India, embassies cancel thousands of appointments linked to both abuse and visa scams. In Nigeria, embassies issued formal advisories warning applicants of lifetime bans. Other countries with high visa demand, like Brazil, the Philippines, and Kenya, are expected to see similar warnings. Let me clear some confusion. Small mistake equals lifetime ban. Only fraud or false statement trigger permanent bans. Overstaying still matters. Even for legitimate reasons, it can result in 3 to 10-year bans. False claims to crime victim status, e.g. U visa, are treated as serious fraud. Revisiting the Louisiana case, who was involved? Police chief, marshal, businessman. What happened? Fake crime reports sold for $5,000 per name. 100 potentially received U visas. Legal consequences, 62 charges including visa fraud, bribery, money laundering. This is not a one-off. Investigators have been tracking it since USCIS flagged U visa vulnerability. If convicted, each defendant faces decades of prison and massive fines. This policy update is not just for fraudsters. It matters to everyday travelers, students, workers, and families. Students must avoid rushing admission or using unverified agents. Tourists should travel with genuine documentation reflecting their purpose. Job seekers should follow proper work visa procedures. No misclassifying or false claim. If you are applying now or renewing, Know that immigration authorities are stricter than ever. Transparency is your best protection. Despite the crackdown, waivers exist, but they are rare and often require proven hardship and rehabilitation. Secondly, new protocols. USCIS is increasing background checks and closer coordination with law enforcement. And thirdly, tech vetting. Visa boards are being shut down. Fraud rings are being dismantled globally. To sum all this up, the US has shifted to a strict no excuse approach to visa fraud. Permanent bans are real, and even seemingly small mistakes can carry big consequences. If you are about to apply for a visa, student, work, tourist, or knowing someone who is, be honest, thorough, ask questions if you are unsure. Visa fraud can cost you everything. Have questions or want tips for your specific visa type? Drop them in the comment. I'll make follow-up videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.